A very good morning to one and all present here. Respected chief guest, dignitaries, distinguished academicians, eminent researchers, industry leaders, faculty members, students, and all the esteemed participants joining us. Established in 2002, the Federal Institute of Science and Technology, FISAT, is an autonomous institution promoted by the Federal Bank Officers Association Educational Society. Affiliated with APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University, FISAT is widely recognized for its academic excellence, state-of-the-art infrastructure, and strong industry linkages.
The FISAT Business School is the esteemed management wing of the institute, offering a comprehensive Master of Business Administration program. FBS is committed to developing ethical and dynamic business leaders who are ready to face the challenges of global marketplace. The institute emphasizes an integrated approach to management education, combining rigorous academic theory with practical real-world applications. And today, it is our proud privilege and honor to welcome you to the inaugural session of FBS International Conference on Management and Research FICMR25, hosted by FISAT Business School in association with the Institute's Innovation Council and the IEEE FISAT Student Branch.
I am Nisha Rajan, Student Convener FICMR25, and I also have my friend Nandini B, final year MBA student. It gives us immense pleasure to serve as the MCs for this meaningful gathering that brings together thought, purpose, and action under the compelling theme, Redefining Success, Integrating Sustainability into Management Practice. Today marks not just the commencement of a conference, but the beginning of a collective dialogue on how organizations, institutions, and individuals can align growth with responsibility and performance with power. Before we commence the event, I request the following dignitaries to kindly take the seats on the dais. Requesting our chief guest, Mr. Manu G, Airport Director, Cochin International Airport Limited, Mr. Sachin Jacob Paul, Vice Chairman, FISAT Governing Body, Professor Dr. Jacob Thomas V, Principal, FISAT, Professor Dr. Justin Paul, Professor, University of Puerto Rico, USA, Mr. Joseph Martin, CEO, Geojit Kusat Center of Sustainability Studies, Professor Dr. Zakaria K.A., Professor and former Director, School of Management Studies, Kusat, Dr. Unnikarta, Dean Academics, FISAT, Professor Dr. Elizabeth George, General Convener, FICMR25, Director, FISAT Business School, and Dr. Sindhu George, Conference Convener, FICMR25, and Associate Professor, FISAT Business School. Thank you, sirs and ma'am. I now invite Ms. Roshni and Ms. Kripa, final year MBA students of FISAT Business School, to lead us in prayer for invoking God's blessings for this event. Kindly rise.
ഹരിത സുന്ദര സന്നിധി തിരുനാഥനന്റെ പ്രണാമം അരുണശോഭിതവാനിലെ അതിനാഥനന്റെ പ്രണാമം താരിളം പുൽക്കൊടികളെ തഴുകുന്ന സാന്നിധ്യം പൂവിതൾ തൻ കവിളിലും വിടരുന്ന സാന്നിധ്യം താരിളം പുൽക്കൊടികളെ തഴുകുന്ന സാന്നിധ്യം
Kindly be seated. Thank you, Roshni and Kripa, for setting the tone for the day. Professor Dr. Elizabeth George is an accomplished academic leader known for her commitment to excellence in management education, research orientation, and institutionalism. Under her guidance, FISAT Business School has consistently fostered a culture that blends academic rigor with ethical and socially responsible leadership. A conference of this stature finds its strength in her visionary leadership and academic stewardship. It is now my honor to invite Professor Dr. Elizabeth George, Director, FISAT Business School, who is also the General Convener of FICMR25, to deliver the welcome address. Ma'am, please.
Respected Vice Chairman, Mr. Sachin Jacob Paul. Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Manu G, Airport Director CL, Management Committee members, Sri Abdul Nasser MP, Sri Ajit Kumar, Ms. Jayashree K, distinguished keynote speakers, Professor Dr. Justin Paul, University of Puerto Rico, USA, Dr. Zakaria K.A., Professor and former Director, SMS QSAT, Mr. Joseph Martin, CEO, GCOSS, Principal Dr. Jacob Thomas, Dean Unikarta G, faculty members, heads of the departments, students, and delegates. A warm good morning to all of you. Sustainability is no longer about doing less harm. It is all about doing more good for people, for planet, and for prosperity. Today, it is my privilege to extend a hearty welcome to all of you to our SBS International Conference on Management and Research, FICMR25, themed Redefined Success, Integrating Sustainability into Management Practices. FISAT Business School is a premier management institute operating under the aegis of Federal Institute of Science and Technology, established and managed by Federal Bank Officers Association, Educational Society, FBOAES, a not-for-profit educational society with a long legacy of professional education. Approved by AICTE and accredited with NAC A+, FISAT was affiliated with AP Abdul Kalam Technological University and has now achieved autonomous status from 2025. FISAT Business School emphasizes the holistic development, combining rigorous academic grounding with practical exposure through development, combining workshops, rigorous academic grounding, seminars, and conferences. Over 19 successful batches of graduates has progressed into distinguished roles across business enterprises, banks, MNCs, government, and non-profit sectors. The school remains committed to nurturing ethical, agile, and future-ready leaders, and actively promotes sustainability by integrating green campus practices into its operational ethos. In today's corporate world, sustainability is essential for long-term business success and resilience. Companies that adopt sustainable practices not only reduce environmental and social impact, but also improve the operational efficiency, lowers the risks, and strengthen their reputation with customers, investors, as well as employees. This conference stands as a unique platform where academics, industry leaders, researchers, and students come together and explore how sustainable principles can be infused into contemporary management practices. I'm very happy that we have 70 plus registrations and more than 65 paper presentations after shortlisting. So let me move on to my task. Welcome to Honorable Chairman Mr. Shimit PR in absentia. He is a visionary leader whose guidance continues to inspire the institution. And thank you so much, sir, for all the effort and granting us the fund for conduct of this conference. Respected Vice Chairman, Mr. Sachin Jacob Paul, we are delighted to welcome you. You graciously agreed to preside over the function in spite of your busy schedule, and we are truly thankful for your presence. Welcome, sir. Our chief guest of the day, Mr. Manu G, Director, Cochin International Airport Limited. Your leadership in steering one of the India's premier airports set a powerful example of sustainability and strategic management in practice. It is an honor to welcome you to FICMR 2025. I wholeheartedly welcome the members of governing body, Sri Abdul Nasser sir, Ms. Jayasri ma'am, Sri Ajit Kumar sir, whose presence and guidance at every activity of FISAT reflects their deep commitment and involvement in our journey. Welcome, sir. Welcome, ma'am. Professor Dr. Justin Paul, Distinguished Professor from University of Puerto Rico, USA, a globally reputed thought leader whose research and insights in management and business are widely recognized. We are privileged to have you share your expertise with us. Welcome you, sir. Professor Dr. Zakaria K.A., Professor and former Director, School of Management Studies, FISAT. He's also my PhD guide. Sir, your contribution in research and management education will enrich scholarly discussions and elevate the learning experience of all the participants. Welcome you, sir. Mr. Joseph Martin, CEO, Geojet CUSAT Center for Sustainability Studies, a distinguished speaker and thinker whose insight bridge theory and real-world impact. Welcome you, sir. I would like to welcome Dr. Jacob Thomas V, Principal, who is a guiding force behind the academic excellence and growth of FISAT. Welcome you, sir. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to Dr. Unikarta G, Dean Academics. Welcome you and thank you for always being there to guide us and inspire us. My faculty colleagues, the coordinators of the conference, Dr. Sindhu and Mr. Praveen, a warm welcome to all of you. Your dedication and tireless effort has been instrumental in bringing this conference to life. Dear students, welcome to FICMR 2025. It is your enthusiasm, curiosity, and energy that make this event truly meaningful. A hearty welcome to all the delegates and paper presenters who have taken efforts to come over here and be part of our program. Administrative Officer, Mr. Vinod, PRO, Head of the Departments, and all the supporting staff, we extend a hearty welcome to all of you. Once again, a warm welcome to FICMR 25. May this conference inspire thought, ignite collaboration, and find new pathways towards sustainable management excellence. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your gracious welcome, and we invite you to this auspicious program. Dr. Sindhu George, Associate Professor, FISAT Business School, who is also the conference convener, is a dedicated academician and researcher whose work has been instrumental in shaping this conference. Ma'am, we request you to kindly introduce the theme of the conference, FICMR 25. Ma'am, please.
respected dignitaries on and off the dais, esteemed speakers, delegates, faculty members, researchers, and dear participants. A very good morning to all of you. Robert Sons once said, the greatest threat to our planet is our belief that someone will save our planet. The powerful quotes remind us why we are here today to reflect on the theme of FICMR25, that is redefining success, integrating sustainability into management practices. In today's world, sustainability is no longer a peripheral subject. It is very central for the economic growth, business strategy, developing policies, and especially for the societal well-being. And the organization, it is measured by not only just because of their financial performance, but also it is measured based on what is their contribution for their ethical standard, their governance practices, social responsibilities, and everything. That means it shows that the sustainability is reshaping our global economy. This is the reason we have taken this particular topic as our conference theme. At FISAT, we believe our education must be beyond to the classrooms or the balance sheet. And FISAT is always focusing on how we can create value to the society. And our vision is emphasizing how to build the ethical leaders and how to build focus on the sustainable development. Then hosting a conference is not only we focus not exclusively in as the part of the academic activity, because it's a reflection of what is our institutional philosophy, that is FISAT for society or the social commitment. So we, FBS, decided to organize this event with a very strong belief that the budding managers must be equipped with sustainable thinking. And academic research plays a very crucial role for that, as we said, how we develop the sustainable practices without compromising, even in case of we have to create a balance, the profit and the environment. So I'm very pleased to share that around 70 research papers will be presented during the conference across the different 5 tracks, reflecting a diverse perspective and emerging ideas of sustainability and management. I'm confident that the deliberations over the next 2 days will inspire a meaningful insight and collaboration and an actionable outcome. Let us use this platform to redefine success, not just an economic achievement, but also the sustainable value creation for society. Thank you everyone for your presence and your valuable contribution and your support. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. This conference is thoughtfully designed to be rich in dialogue, reflection, and engagement with eminent voices from academia, industry, and sustainability leadership. One of the key highlights of FICMR25 is the Day 2 panel discussion on redefining corporate success, balancing profit, people, and planet, featuring Mr. Padmanabhan TM, DVP and Head ESG, Federal Bank, Mr. Jayaraman C, Managing Director, Equinoct, and Mrs. Fauzni Abdul Ghafoor, Director, ESG and Sustainability Services, UST, and moderated by Mr. Suraj Abraham, Founder and Secretary of NGO Planet Earth.
Mr. Sachin Jacob Paul, Vice Chairman, FISAT Governing Body, is a leader whose vision reflects strategic foresight and a deep belief in education as a catalyst for societal transformation. Each time you address us, your words inspire and motivate us. leaving a lasting impact on our collective purpose and commitment to excellence. Sir, we kindly invite you to deliver the presidential address.
Respected Chief Guest, Mr. Manuji, all other dignitaries, including Dr. Justin Paul, Joseph Martin, Professor Zakaria K., our Principal, Dr. Jacob Thomas, Dean, Dr. Elizabeth George, Dr. Sindhu George, Dr. Unikarda, our Managing Committee members, faculty and students. I'm really honored and proud to address all of you on this auspicious occasion, especially during a time when world discussing about about this, especially this triple bottom line concept under ESG. Not just in words, but a lot of action plans are taken place by different organizations. But unfortunately, that ESG, that subject or that key principle is used only for PR exercise or kind of declaration based. That should not be the end result of at least of this conference. There should be action points, there should be proper, not just a declaration based ESG concept, but more than that, a demonstration must be there. That must be the crux of at least this conference. Because in past few weeks, I was going through the newspaper, shocking news was there regarding the presence of uranium in breast milk. That was a shocking news. And at the same time, a hot topic already under discussion is the microplastics content in the seafood, and cannot be that is an unimaginable level. That at the same time, we are always discussing on the air pollution, Delhi or X or Y, whatever be the thing. But more than that, when we kind of thinking about the triple bottom line, the people perspective, because as a trade union leader also, I am more I would like to emphasize on the people perspective, which is quite unfortunate. No one is giving that much importance. Even in Indian context, the corporate world, the representative of corporate world is speaking on the 72 hours working hours. 72 hours people must work, the employees must work, then only the productivity will improve. That is totally we have statistics to demonstrate. Maybe Dr. Justin can speak on that more in a global perspective, because there is no proportionate proof that the productivity will be improved based on the working hours. But people are speaking on that. Already the environment is giving a lot of warning, a lot of clear signals. Even from the Kerala perspective, we have a lot of examples related to the national highway collapse. Because clear signals are given by environment on the development. But unfortunately, the political or the corporate leadership is, they want to exhibit the development as a model to showcase only for the short time. That is not the case of, even we can see the Alua bridge, which is being built by the Marthanda Varma during that time, that you don't want to get some votes, but you want to build that particular thing. That was a bridge, the original bridge, but unfortunately a lot of bridges has been collapsed and national highway has been collapsed day by day. A lot of news we are getting. So the perspective should be the short time one. That must be the crux of not just in corporate world or particular in political world. And that ethical perspective, that CSR initiative, that corporate governance perspective, all these things are, for example, I can tell you that in Bangladesh, a company called Sara, you must be aware about the apparel company Sara, manufacturing jeans, a lot of things related to that. They are having an outlet, they are having a workstation in Bangladesh where the people are not able to get the basic amenities like drinking water or a kind of enough light or other things. All this without any toilet facility, they are working. And the same company giving CSR in some other country and projecting them as the master of social work or kind of social responsibility. So the irony is there. So whatever progress we are achieving, whatever development we are speaking, but the internal stakeholders, so the people involved, directly or indirectly, if they are struggling, we cannot tell that is a sustainable model. Then definitely if a kind of just for the cost savings purpose or whatever be the core purpose behind this kind of practices, that will not survive for a long time. So we have to have a clarity on the progress the development or the core principle behind all the activities is for human being or for the people. But that people-centric approach must be like discussed and deliberated in a more creative way. So I would like to wish all the best to the national conference, and we are very fortunate to receive such a huge experienced people as today's guests. So we must be able to gain a lot of clarity from the global perspective from different delegates, and future also definitely. As FISAT, I would like to for the speakers also, for the clarity, I would like to emphasize that FISAT is an organization which is managed by a trade union. You might have heard that clarity, but which is owned by a trade union. It is not a traditional Kerala story or a traditional story which has been shared to the public generally. FISAT is managed by a trade union. The same, we have maybe that, not the triple bottom line. We are also, when I met Dr. Shashi Thiru once, we said, no, as a banker, as a trade union leader, and I'm managing an education institution. Okay, you are already doing triple role, exactly. So, but unfortunately, that education, okay, in higher education system, everyone telling like, okay, this is for the business, this is for the profit only. And we can see that before coin such a subject or EST, no one discussing about such a subject, FISAT can be seen. The visionary founder, Chairman P.V. Matthew, saw such a dream. We can see the campus, a green campus, without blocking the flow of a river. So you can see that is a clear example for EST model. And the profit part. Profit part is the most important thing. We are not concerned about the profit. We cannot know other corporates or other things people can think about like that. But we are investing whatever profit or whatever revenue generated here itself. That is a kind of example we are having. So we'd like to hear more from you so that our institution also can be think beyond just an educational institution. Or as a social responsible institution, we can go ahead. So I wish everyone all the best and wish the conference, the team behind the conference, very best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring and eye-opening address. Professor Dr. Jacob Thomas V., Principal FISAT, is a distinguished leader with over 36 years of experience in engineering and academia. He holds a graduate degree in electronics engineering from the National Institute of Technology, Surat, a master's in biomedical engineering, and a doctoral degree from IIT Madras. We are truly honored to invite you, sir, to deliver the principal's address and share your valuable insights with us. Sir, please.
President of this meeting, President of FBOA, Mr. Sachin Jacob Paul, Chief Guest of the Day, Mr. Manu G, Director, Sial Airport, keynote distinguished speakers, Professor Justin Paul, Mr. Joseph Martin, Professor Zakaria, Director, FBS, Elizabeth Ma'am, Dean Unikata G, Managing Committee members, faculty members, delegates, and my dear students. It gives me immense pride and joy to welcome you all to the FISAT Business School International Conference on Management and Research 2025, FICMR25. This conference is a testament to our collective commitment to reimagining the success in the modern world where 3 P's, profit, people, and planet, must coexist in harmony. At FISAT Business School, we believe that management education must go beyond the conventional boundaries. It must inspire the leaders to embrace the responsibility, foster innovation, and integrate the sustainability into every decision that we make. Theme of this conference, Redefining the Success, Integrating Sustainability into Management Practice, reflects this vision. We are honored to host these distinguished academicians, industry leaders, and researchers who brings diverse perspectives on environmental stewardship, social responsibility, and government excellence. Their sites will not only enrich our understanding, but also guide us towards building resilient, ethical, and future-ready organization. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our chief guest, Mr. Manu Ji, Director, SIAL. SIAL is one of the main sponsors of this particular international conference, as well as the keynote speakers, panelists, and session chairs for that invaluable contribution. I also commend FISAT Business School, organizing team, faculty, and the students whose dedication has made FICMR25 a reality. May this conference serve as a platform for a meaningful dialogue, innovative ideas, and collaborative solution that redefine the success for generations to come. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your motivating and insightful message. To mark the formal inauguration of FICMR25, we now proceed with the lighting of the ceremonial lamp, a timeless tradition that symbolizes the dispelling of ignorance and the illumination of knowledge, wisdom, and collective purpose. I respectfully invite our chief guest, Mr. Manu Ji, Airport Director, Cochin International Airport Limited, to kindly lead the lamp lighting ceremony, joined by the honorable dignitaries on the dais. I also take the honor of inviting the management committee members from among the audience as well to join us for the lamp lighting ceremony.
Thank you, respected sirs and ma'am, for gracing this solemn and meaningful moment. Kindly take your seats. We are deeply honored to have with us today our chief guest, Mr. Manu Ji, Airport Director, Cochin International Airport Limited. Mr. Manu Ji has over 23 years of extensive experience across key airport operations portfolios. He assumed office as the Airport Director of SIAL in 2022 and currently serves as the Chief Operations Officer and Accountable Executive. Under such leadership, SIAL continues to be globally recognized as a benchmark for sustainable infrastructure, governance excellence, and renewable energy leadership. He holds a BTech in Civil Engineering from TKM College of Engineering, an MBA in Operations Management from IGNOU, and a diploma in Traditional Architecture from Mahatma Gandhi University. And today, I take the privilege of inviting our esteemed chief guest, Mr. Manu Ji, to deliver the inaugural address. Sir, please.
distinguished dignitaries on the dais, respected scholars, industry leaders, researchers, delegates, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to inaugurate this International Conference on Management and Research, focused on the compelling theme Redefining Success, integrating sustainability into management practice. I extend my warm greetings to the organizers for choosing a theme that is not only timely, but essential for the future of business, governance, and society at large. For decades, success in management was measured primarily through growth, profitability, and market dominance. While these indicators remain important, the challenges of our times, that is climate change, resource depletion, energy insecurity, and social inequity, compel us to broaden our definition of success. Today, true success lies in our ability to create long-term value while remaining environmentally responsible, socially inclusive, and economically resilient. As an airport director, I have had the opportunity to witness firsthand how sustainability can move beyond being a corporate slogan to becoming a core management philosophy. Cochin International Airport Limited stands as a living example of this transformation. We are proud to be the first and only airport in the world fully powered by solar energy, a milestone that demonstrates how visionary management, technological innovation, and environmental responsibility can coexist and reinforce one another. I told you earlier, we are the only one airport in the world which is totally powered by solar energy. And not only this one, until now, after 8 years, we have been honored by United Nations highest BPCL, Bharat Petroleum is a partner of us. We are investing around 40 crore rupees for making green hydrogen and as a social responsibility, we are purchasing hydrogen fueled buses. For the IC engines, it may cost around 50 lakhs rupees, where the hydrogen fueled bus will cost 3 crore rupees as a social responsibility. So the thing is like the emission will be only steam. So likewise, we need to think out of the box. So I am just advising the students, I don't know, the researchers and other people as well. We need to think out of the box. Out of the box means what we did. Maybe when we started in 1995, we are looking for an airport, a greenfield airport. We are actually running short of money and nobody was there to promote us. At that time, the then collector was the managing director of the airport at that time, where he thought about why can't we approach the user community. So we went to the user, non-residents, Keralites, and around 30,000 people were included to get capital for our airport funding first. So my appeal to the community is like, we need to think out of the box, how to get funded, and then we need to think about how to become first. That I just mentioned. With respect to the solar, we are the first and the only one airport in the world which is fully powered by solar energy. That is one thing, and we are venturing to hydrogen. So if you are the first, we maybe get recognized. Just simply going along with the business may not work in that sense. If you want to get some tangible benefits or intangible benefits, we need to get that best or the first or something like that. That extra element that need to be. As an example, I will tell, in a conference, somebody is telling like cleaning, housekeeping, the toilet can be dry, the toilet can be clean, but it will not work. If you put one flower in the toilet after the cleaning, that has got an impact on the community or the user. So my appeal to the business, you all are the future business people, chief executive officers, CXOs of different companies can be sometimes. But what you can keep in mind is like that small things that can get a change. That has to be kept in mind. And another aspect I need to highlight is like the government policy, the political issues, the bilateral issues, the government policies, government of India or the government of Kerala, I am not giving an international context on that, but we need to think, we need to understand what is the government policy. On that subset only we can work. We cannot go in isolation, but whatever the government envisages, what are the social political changes that is being happening, that also need to be considered on your decision making processes. That also need to be. Example, 2047 is a timeline that has been set by the Honorable Prime Minister for our carbon neutrality and all. So every project and everything that we need, that we envisage or we research on, need to be in line with the Government of India perspective or the Government of Kerala, the government perspectives. So that also need to be considered. And one aspect of, maybe you may be interested in Cochin Airport, how we become a sustainable model. So I'm just thinking, I'm just telling, at the time when 1995, where we are not in a position to get capital, as I told, we got capital from the user community. At the time, the managing director thought, okay, we need to restrict ourselves for the airport construction to the minimum most cost. So, even though KITCO is an agency who has been earmarked for, who has been entrusted for making the airport, at that time, if we are going for an international firm, it should have been cost around 10 times the capital investment, around 300 crore we made at the time. So, indigenous product, that also we thought about. And then the engineering materials that has been used, the Kerala temple architecture, that is all indigenous product has been used, and the cost of the construction has been made to that level where within 5 years of time we broke even. So this is the way our journey started. And when no other airports started thinking, we ventured into, in 2013, we ventured into solar. And we actually experienced all type of solar panels, including floating panels, including rooftop, including terrestrial, topography based, and even the canal top. And away from we purchased the land away from the airport, and we have had. And we ventured into mini hydel project where the environment is, mini hydel project means the run of the water project where we never polluted the environment in that sense. Never damaged the, because of the head of the water, we never damaged the forest areas. We used the run of the water for making mini hydel project. And only one institution in Kerala where we ventured in the mini hydel project as well. So this way, we are very much into the sustainable model of development. And another one aspect is, yesterday we have got an award for the productivity. So reduce, reuse and refuse, that and all you may be knowing now with respect to the sustainability, we use all these RE terms. Where we need to reduce the excess, whatever the excess, we need to reduce it. So the productivity need to be improved. And we have been awarded, Cochin International Airport has been awarded yesterday by the State Productivity Council, the best productivity industry in Kerala. That's also, I am just mentioning, these are some of the aspects where we need to think about while we are thinking about the sustainability. Our journey towards sustainability was not driven by compliance alone. Of course, there will be compliance, the government compliance will be there, the Ministry of Environment and Forest Science, the Kerala Pollution Control Board regulations will be there, but it should not, you should not restrict on the compliance alone, but by conviction also. By investing in renewable energy, we are not reduced our carbon footprint, but also strengthened our operational resilience and cost efficiency. This experience taught us a valuable lesson. Sustainability is not a cost to be borne, but an investment that yields enduring returns. Building on this commitment, we have now ventured into green hydrogen production, recognizing its immense potential as a clean energy carrier of the future. This initiative reflects on our belief that organizations must not only adapt to change, but lead the transition toward cleaner and more sustainable systems. For management professionals, this underscores the importance of forward-looking leadership and research-driven decision-making. The role of management today extends far beyond maximizing short-term performance. It involves balancing economic objectives with environmental stewardship, engaging stakeholders responsibly, and ensuring that growth today does not compromise the needs of future generations. Academic research and industry practice must work hand in hand to develop models, matrices, and strategies that embedded sustainability into the very fabric of management education and practice. This conference provides a valuable platform for scholars, practitioners, and students to exchange ideas, challenge conventional thinking, and explore innovative approaches to sustainable value creation. I am confident that the deliberations over the coming days will contribute meaningfully to redefining how we teach, learn, and practice management in a rapidly changing world. In conclusion, let us remember that success in the 21st century will be judged not only by what we achieve, but by how responsibility we achieve it. I commend the organizers for bringing together such a distinguished gathering and wish the conference very success. With these words, I have great pleasure in declaring this conference formally inaugurated. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Your insightful address has enriched our understanding of sustainability, especially in the aviation industry. Thank you once again, sir. With the inauguration of FICMR25, we now move towards one of the key intellectual highlights of the day. We have an exciting ESG plenary session, a key segment of today's program that brings together perspectives on environmental, social, and governance dimensions. This plenary will feature 3 distinguished speakers, each addressing a core pillar of ESG and offering valuable insights from their respective domains. Since we have a few presentations, I request the dignitaries on the dais to kindly occupy the front seats among the audience. Next up, we have the profile of Professor Dr. Justin Paul, Professor, University of Puerto Rico, USA, requesting the technical team to kindly play the video.
Great researchers don't just find answers, they frame the questions that shape discovery. It is with immense pride and deep respect that we extend a very warm welcome to an extraordinary scholar, global academic leader, and prolific researcher, Dr. Justin Paul, who is present with us today on this distinguished occasion. Dr. Paul holds 3 doctorates from the University of Brighton in England, IIT Bombay, and an honorary doctorate from the University of Calcutta. His visionary leadership transformed the International Journal of Consumer Studies from a Q4 ranked publication into a Q1 journal, now holding the highest impact factor and site score globally in its field, listed in both Web of Science and Scopus. He's ranked among the top 70 most cited professors in business and social sciences worldwide. With over 42,000 citations and an H index of 100, his research impact continues to grow at an exceptional rate of 1,100 citations per month. Dr. Paul has held prestigious academic positions, including lecturer at the University of Washington, dean and provost at the NMIMS University, and department chair at IIM Kozhikode. Currently, he serves as a professor at the University of Puerto Rico, USA, while also holding visiting or honorary positions at leading institutions across Korea, Hungary, Poland, and India. His global academic engagements have taken him over 200 countries and more than 500 universities, where he has delivered invited lectures. He has taught full courses in Denmark, France, Lithuania, and Poland, and held visiting professorships at esteemed institutions such as the University of Reading, University of Chicago, Fudan University, Vienna University of Economics and Business, and the UAB in both Barcelona and Madrid. Dr. Paul is also a pioneer in business and marketing research. His contributions include the Maastricht model and measure for branding, the CCP model for internationalization, the SCOPE framework for small firms, the 7P framework for international marketing, and the ADO, TCCM, SPAR4SLR protocols for literature reviews. Academic portfolio includes 4 case studies published with Ivy and Harvard, as well as widely adopted textbooks released by McGraw-Hill, Oxford University Press, and Pearson. He has served as associate editor for leading journals such as the Journal of Business Research, European Management Review, and European Management Journal, further solidifying his standing as a global thought leader in academia. Dr. Paul, we feel truly privileged to have you with us today. Your presence is an inspiration to us all, and it is an absolute honor to welcome you to this special occasion. Welcome, sir.
FISAT is truly honored to have with us Professor Dr. Justin Paul, who will be speaking on environmental stewardship, first pillar of ESG. Please put your hands together to welcome sir. Sir, please.
Respected Chief Guest, Mr. Manu, dignitaries, Director, Principal, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor for me to be here today after my 2 weeks of European tour that happened till last Saturday. Somewhat tired because I was in 4 different countries, but the most important thing I noticed in those European countries last 2 weeks is sustainability. I'm not going to talk about exactly what you said because it's the first time I'm hearing that I have to talk about the topic that you just announced. So, but I have a overall topic that I will cover: sustainability in general. Sustainability has become the cornerstone of everything that we do in business and society all over the world. In Europe, plastic bottles are no longer being used, for example. Sustainability is a big thing in Europe. Why I'm talking about is that last 2 weeks I was in Spain, I was in Poland, I was in Romania, I was in Budapest, Hungary. Everywhere, sustainability is a big thing. I was an accreditation committee member for European Accreditation Agency, EQUS, European Quality Assurance Agency, and I visited many business schools in different countries, including France. And one of the important parameters of European quality assessment in education institutions these days is sustainability. One of the 9 criteria that include success of students, intellectual contributions of their faculty members, that include internationalization aspect of universities, and 4th one is ESG. So it is an important topic, and I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate FISAT Business School for organizing this conference on a very important topic. As far as I am concerned, my background is concerned, I'm a professor of marketing and international business, and I started my journey from India, and I was an IIM faculty member. Then my dreams, of course, you need to set your goals and you need to have dreams. And if you set your goals, you can achieve greater heights in our career, in our life. We live in a smart world. Smart has become a synonym for everything. This is an era of smartphone. This is an era of smart watches. This is also an era of smart people and smart cars and smart toilets too. Advancements in technology and digital transformation have a profound influence on business and society in different ways. I have my PPT. I don't know whether you have it. Yeah. So I would primarily use my printed speech, but I do have a PPT because I have only 20 minutes, so I can't cover all PPT in 20 minutes, so that way I have to use my prepared printed speech. India has overtaken China as the most populated country in the world. However, sustainability initiatives in India is not as great or is not as good as of sustainability initiatives that I have seen in different countries based on my own living experience and based on my travel experience. It needs much more improvement. Kerala is much better in ESG initiatives than the rest of this country. And if you go to Bombay, last year I took leave from my American job and I was in Bombay heading a university as provost and dean, NMIMS University in Bombay. I went to Bandra complex. All over Bombay, you need to close your nose. Otherwise, you can't really walk around. It's that kind of bad. I mean, pollution. If you go to Delhi, the pollution, the air quality is so bad, probably the worst in the world. Maybe Africa is better than Delhi in terms of air quality. I was in Rwanda, in Africa, I found air quality is much better in Rwanda than New Delhi. So we need a lot of improvement in this country in terms of ESG. When I went to Australia first time in my life, I didn't feel like to come back to Bombay because I traveled to Australia from Bombay when I was 22. And what I'm saying is that air quality is much better compared to Bombay. So, and you don't have those kind of stingy cities in those countries, in any of the developed countries in the world. So we need better practices in this country to improve sustainability initiatives in this country. And I would like to draw your attention to South Korea and Japan, having been to many countries, and I would like to specifically draw your attention to those countries. I went to Japan in 2007, and I lived in Japan for about 3.5 years. I was a professor in Nagoya University, and what I learned in Japan is sustainability practices that they implement in different ways. They have 5S philosophy of sustainability, consisting of Seiri, that means sort out, Seiton, set in order, Seiso, clean and shine, Seiketsu means standardize, Shitsuke means sustain. Sustainability requires sort out, set in order, clean and shine, standardize, and you can sustain. So that's what the Japanese philosophy, which they call it as 5S philosophy of Japanese management. And I would also like to draw your attention to South Korea. I've been to South Korea 4 times, and my brother lived in South Korea for 3 years. I was an invited keynote speaker in KSMS conference held at Korea's #2 university, Korea University in Seoul in 2022. And my speech venue was LG Hall of Korea University. Korea University auditorium is named as LG Hall. That itself shows the academic industry partnership for long-term sustainability of education institutions in India. Sustainability is a very holistic, comprehensive concept that covers everything under the sun, which includes our own life, pollution, which includes sustainability of companies, sustainability of universities and colleges, sustainability of everything. What I'm saying is that we need to have long-term solutions. When I come to India, I see not much collaborations between companies and colleges. I'm glad to see that Geojit is collaborating with FISAT and Cochin University in terms of partnerships. So this is very common in many other countries. And I was, and next year I went to South Korea again, visiting Yonsei University, and I had 2 days of interactions and sessions with their students and professors. Yonsei University is a Catholic university. However, their board members come from industries, from different companies. The library, their professor showed me their library named as Yonsei Samsung Library. Samsung has sponsored 50% of the expenses of library of Yonsei University. And Yonsei has a fantastic library, probably better than Harvard University Library. I've been to Harvard University Library and I found Yonsei Samsung Library has much more collections and much more facilities and much more fancier library than Harvard University. And this is possible only with industry collaborations, otherwise it is impossible. Only a college cannot do such kind of things. And South Korea's success as a country, from the status of a low-income, underdeveloped country to the status of a developed economy. I'm not sure how many of you have observed how South Korea has transformed their country. It's also based on 3 reasons. First, best practices of governance, vision, and mission of South Korean companies, including their sustainability initiatives, help them to achieve global success. And the companies such as Samsung, LG, Hyundai, and other enterprises also help them with the support of their government achieving what they wanted to achieve in terms of their dreams and goals. Technology, research and development, innovation with an overall sustainable growth outlook. Technology is very important, no doubt. Innovation, they helped. Tied with sustainability, helped South Korea to transform the country as a developed country. And the high quality education South Korean universities provide in their universities. No compromise to quality. During my visit to South Korea, I learned that South Korea has the best technology in the world, starting with automatic scanning of passport at the airport to AI-based kiosks in City Park for a wide range of activities, such as measuring your heartbeats and blood pressure to prescribe medicines using AI kiosks. AI kiosks are similar to ATMs in India. AI kiosks in South Korea are everywhere. And in Japan, what I learned from Japan is Japan had risen like a phoenix bird by late 1960s with a lot of hard work, determination, and dedication with an overall goal: achieve, grow, and sustainable long-term growth. Everything in Japan was destroyed during the Second World War and nuclear bomb attacks in mid-1940s. Harmonial culture in Japan, long-term planning, focus on manufacturing and sustainable outlook, and maximizing global sales diplomatically and scientifically. Importance given to technology, innovation, and crimeless society. With the help of Japanese government and small companies in Japan, including the multinational companies as well as small companies, help Japan to achieve and transcend horizons. And Japan emerged as the second largest economy in the world, overtaking Germany by mid-1970s in 30 years of time after Second World War. If Japan can achieve the status of second largest economy, status in 30 years from the ashes, and South Korea can do that kind of miracle growth story, Kerala or FISAT or Federal Bank or India can also transform themselves as the most successful countries in the world, as the most successful organizations in the world. It is possible. Nothing is impossible. I would like to provide a couple of share my experiences from those countries. 17, 18 years ago, my Japanese university had implemented 100% Apple MacBook campus in Japan. And I'm not glorifying Apple, but however, what I'm trying to say is that they always take proactive steps looking at what is the emerging technology. Suppose if AI is capturing the business these days, they embrace AI. If Apple is doing that, they embrace Apple. That is the Japanese mindset. They are for pro-technology, they are for pro-service, they are for pro-quality. However, in India, we still use outdated technology when it comes to many technologies. In 2008, Japan had implemented 100% smart toilet policy, which simply means that automatic toilets. I see automatic toilet only at the Dumbassery airport here in this country. Nowhere else we don't have automatic toilets in this country. The Dumbasseries are all model airports. But other airports, I'm not sure. So, and households in India still use the outdated toilet technology. And my former Japanese dean, Kobayashi Sensei, used to tell me, Japanese go everywhere in the world with a goal. Learn the best from the West, unlearn the worst from the West, and implement the best at home in Japan. That is the secret of Japanese success. Toyota, an adorable Japanese company, sent managers to the US, to the Ford factory in the US, to learn how Ford manufactures cars and try to implement those best practices in the factory in Japan. Toyota emerged as one of the most successful car companies, beating American companies in America for car sales. And Fuji learned photocopying technology from Xerox. Later, Fuji, with their strategy focusing on marketing, emerged as one of the top photocopying companies in the world. And Japanese 5S philosophy and 5S strategy helped them to achieve sustainable growth. They use 4 different colors of bags for sorting out the waste. Every day, 7 a.m., municipal lorries, municipal vehicles come to every apartment complex to pick up 4 different type of waste in 4 different colors of bags, and they do have a proper garbage mechanism. The best garbage management mechanism I have ever seen is in Japan, out of my experience in about 190 plus countries in the world. And recently we had municipal elections and panchayat elections in Kerala. I arrived here last week on Saturday seeing these election results and other things, and I feel like motivating them to go to Japan and to learn how they manage garbage so that this country will have better life for people and quality of life will increase in this country tremendously. And our MLAs and MPs need to be sent to Japan at least for 1 week to learn how they manage. But they are busy with inaugurations in this country, they don't have time for garbage management. That is the problem in this country. And to talk about importance of technology, Japan used AI, artificial intelligence, including robots, even 20 years ago. And in India, those are relatively new. So India is about 15 years or 10 years outdated or back compared to Japan in terms of technology. Cleanliness is part of Japanese sustainability initiatives. Japan has implemented cleanliness and elegance as part of their strategy everywhere, including their public toilets. Next week, I have an invitation to go to Trivandrum, and Professor from Marivanios told me they will book the train ticket. But I was thinking about how to, suppose if I have to go to, or you have to go to the train stations in this country, do you think that you can go to the public toilets in the train stations in this country? But in Japan, public toilets are very, very clean. They have a mechanism for that. And automatic toilets help Japanese cleanliness in many, many different ways. And so what I would like to highlight is not only the real environment-related sustainability initiative, but also the human side of sustainability initiatives. Japanese always use 2 words during conversation when they meet people. Arigato gozaimasu, which means thank you. Thank you very much. And they do not stop at thank you. They have a gozaimasu means very much. Arigato means thank you very much. And in India, we are not able to say thank you properly when we meet people. In case if we all can develop, I'm not saying that I'm a hero in thank you, I don't have the habit of saying thank you, but what I learned from Japan is say thank you for each and everything. They also use another word, sumimasen. Sumimasen simply means excuse me. They always express thank you And they have that kind of mindset even if they meet someone else for 2 minutes. So we need that kind of human side in this country as well. And we rarely have those kind of initiatives in this country. We need that kind of training, human side training, soft skill training in MBA colleges as well as engineering colleges in this country as well. This country also needs some more reforms and initiatives. Let me ask you a fundamental question. What is the difference between Korea, India, and Europe? I have seen in Korea, I found that the industry leaders such as CEOs get a lot of importance in society, including in the academic circle. Universities honor them with honorary doctorates. CEOs and presidents and chairmen of different companies get honored. They have the proper status. They have the social status in countries like Korea and Japan. And when I was in Korea University, Samsung CEO was awarded honorary doctorate. In India, I have seen our private universities are given private university status by politicians, expecting that the private university will give them honorary doctorate to the political leaders, and movie stars are also given honorary doctorate in this country because many of us worship politicians and movie stars in this country. And in European universities, scientists and professors get honorary doctorate. That is the difference between South Korea and Japan, both in the same category, India in a different category, worshipping politicians and movie stars, and scientists get honorary doctorate in Europe. So that is the cultural difference between these three different regions and the world, which I have seen based on my own experience. Sustainable growth requires simple, humble, and noble people. Not only, because if you have egoistic people, it doesn't work. There is a difference between a boss and a subordinate, or boss and a leader, because boss also need to get along with the subordinate to motivate them to do the job, otherwise it will not work. Many bosses in this country is also known for power hierarchy. Everybody wants to be vice chancellor, everybody wants to be chief minister in this country, mainly because of power distance. But not much demand for such positions in American or European universities or companies because there's not much power distance. So only salary difference exists there. So even subordinates can call their boss with the first names. That is the difference. And in this country, many bosses would say I instead of saying we. And many bosses would say go to the subordinates instead of saying let's go. So even sustainability initiative to get the support of subordinate, without the support of subordinate, you cannot implement sustainability initiatives in your organization. And if you have to get the support of everyone in your organization, you need to follow an approach called let's go instead of the approach go. And there are some auspicious aspects in this country, even though I criticize some aspects of this country. Some auspicious aspect is that we have sustainability in our mindset. For example, instead of calling our MBA colleges as business school, government named IIMs are Indian Institute of Management instead of saying Indian Institute of Business Management. In America, everything is called as business school. So that IIM name comes with the idea of sustainability. It's not because business simply means pure profit. So when you say management, it has profit plus sustainability idea behind the name IIM instead of calling II Business Management. And so that way, traditionally or historically, this country also had a social initiatives and sustainability initiatives in many different ways, which is reflected in the name of IIM instead of naming IIM as IIBM, or instead of naming them as business school. So however, the approach in the minds of our bureaucrats or some of our leaders need to change. I was in Delhi, and a professor in a university in Delhi invited, she's a lady, she's a wife of an IPS officer. She told, I can invite you to my house and my husband, IPS officer, will be happy to have a dinner with you. And I went there, and what I found was that a policeman is cleaning the shoe of IPS officer, and a policeman is doing something else also, which I don't want to say that, but that is the culture in this country. We misuse our powers in our government circle, and vehicle inspectors You know how much money vehicle inspectors get as salary, but if you go to their house, you will see they are super rich people in this country. Even if you have to get an ordinary driving license in this country, you are paying 10,000 rupees donation or bribe to every vehicle inspector in this country, directly or indirectly. Otherwise, you will not get driving license in this country. Don't just blame the politicians. Our officers are also belonging to this category. So that is the problem. There is sustainability initiatives requires human approach in different ways. That is what I wanted to say. I went to an IIM in South India, maybe this state itself, and the boss of the IIM, a professor turned director, he is waiting for the driver to come and open his door, the backseat door, instead of just opening himself. Vice chancellors and chancellors drive their own cars or walk to the office from home in foreign countries. That is the cultural difference between directors or vice chancellors in foreign countries and our own IIM directors in this country. So we need a mindset approach. This is happening mainly because our IIM directors become IIM directors, or our university vice chancellors become vice chancellors only because of political connections. Otherwise, you can never become directors of IIMs and university vice chancellors in this country. They have never studied in foreign countries. They have never worked in foreign countries. So we need to have more diplomatic approach in order to change the culture in this country in many different ways. I would not take much of your time. However, I would like to share a framework which probably can help you to think about achieving sustainable performance. Along with Eric Maas, a professor at Indiana University in the US, Indiana is a state of the US, and we developed a 7P framework for sustainable performance. And in this framework, what we talked about is sustainable performance is a function of your potential, your sustainable path, your processes, your pace, your pattern, and how you manage your problems. And your performance or your sustainable performance, your performance becomes sustainable based on how you analyze your potential and how to leverage those potential diplomatically. And your potential is also based on to what extent you are being trained and what extent you can use your potential for different things. And your performance is an outcome of your sustainable path. This includes, in this country, Viksit Bharat. Viksit Bharat is an idea with a long-term orientation of sustainable growth in this country. And you have to also understand the sources of growth path in your state or in your company or in your country so that sustainability becomes part and parcel of the life. And your sustainable performance is also a function of your processes that you follow everyday basis. Those processes include organic processes and inorganic processes. You need to have organic as well as inorganic processes for achieving sustainable growth and achieving sustainability. It is important. I would not venture into details of what are organic and what are inorganic processes, considering the time limit. And your performance is a function of pace. The pace, you need to have optimum pace. You cannot drive your car in 5th gear. That's not a great idea. And you cannot drive your car in 1st gear. So you need to have an optimum speed, 4th gear ideally, or gearless car, so that you can achieve sustainable growth. And we need to achieve growth along with sustainability. I'm not just talking about sustainability only, but also growth with sustainability. That should be our goal. And we should have a goal like 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, sustainable achievement, sustainable growth, sustainable performance. And sustainable performance is also outcome of your pattern. And pattern include, suppose in the case of a company, what you do, what kind of thing you manufacture, and in the case of agriculture, food sustainability or food self-sufficiency, in services sector, pro-quality service, and initiatives to avoid service failure, and those kind of things. For example, Indigo failed recently, right? So almost all the airlines have failed in this country. We need to avoid those kind of disasters. Otherwise, it's a disaster for this country. And human relations, it is also very important. Human relations, it is very, very important. So instead of trying to fight each other, we need to encourage and nurture a culture based on friendship. I know human beings are created, or human beings are born and grown up with some kind of mindset to hate others if they see something that you do not like about others or something that others do. But we need to improve that, and we need to think about servant attitude to everyone. We need servant leaders. We do not need toxic leaders to implement growth initiative with sustainability. We need to encourage a mindset mindset with an orientation. we serve, we care, and we help. Those three pillars will help us to transcend horizon. And education institutions can do better in this regard. And it is very important to avoid vandalism and to avoid creating problems. This is very important. And it is important to think about setting your goal, because your journey to achieve sustainability, whether you are a student or a professor or a manager, is a journey. It is a continuous process. Never put a full stop on your way to succeed, and you're on your way to perform, and on your way to achieve success with sustainability. It is important. And since I see many students here, I would also like to quote an example of some Indians, those who have achieved success in foreign countries like the US. Think about Google CEO. Think about Microsoft chairman. They are all average Indians. If they can transcend horizons and achieve the status of CEO or president of Google and Microsoft, people sitting here, you can also groom yourself as Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google, and Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft. And I would like to encourage you to think about in that direction and groom yourself so that you can implement better initiatives and implement better sustainability practices in the organizations where you will be working in the days to come. And the last message, but not least, that I would like to convey today is never get disappointed if you do not get what you want to get in your first or second attempt. I was a bank officer, but I left my bank job after 1 year, and I moved to academia, recognizing opportunities in academia. I'm very happy with my professional achievements, and I would like to encourage you to think about different ways and different ways of achieving highs in your life. And my last message, based on a discussion that I had last week in Spain with a couple of professors in Spain, and I was discussing about why people fight and why we have to avoid competition and fight unnecessary or unavoidable fight between people. We were discussing about war between Russia and Ukraine. We were discussing about war between Palestine and Israel. We were discussing about fight in the name of religion in this country. We were discussing about fight in the name of race in the US. And finally, along with some professors from Spain, we developed a 3R model, realizing that people are fighting unnecessarily in the name of black and white race in America. People are fighting in the name of religion in India. People are fighting in the name of resources in Europe. All the European wars were or are because of resources. They are crazy for resources. Resources is nothing but money. People are fighting and killing people in India and Pakistan in the name of religion. People are doing the same thing in Israel and Pakistan. We need to stop wars. People are fighting and killing each other in Russia and Ukraine only for resources, money. People are fighting in the name of US and Venezuela also just for money. So 3R, fight and competition for religion in some part of the world, for resources in some other part of the world, and in the name of race, black and white and other things in some countries. So we need to avoid such kind of thing. Sustainability is a comprehensive concept. It's an overall concept. It's a holistic concept. It starts with environment, and it goes to people, and it comes back to people. And we need to have ESG initiatives based on people. That is the main message that I would like to convey. And let me take this opportunity to thank FISAT Business School and Federal Bank Officers Association for inviting me for this keynote speech. Thank you very much. Arigato gozaimasu. Nandi namaskaram.
We thank you for your insightful keynote on environmental stewardship and for inspiring us towards a more sustainable future. Thank you, sir. Next, we have Mr. Joseph Martin, a globally respected sustainability leader with nearly 4 decades of experience across industry, consulting, and academia. He is the CEO and Professor of Practice at GeoJet, FISAT Center of Sustainability Studies, and has held senior leadership roles with PwC India, Saudi Aramco, EY, TCS, General Motors, Kochi Refineries, and FACT. He has also served on the Global Sustainability Standards Board of GRI and as a visiting faculty at IIM Kozhikode and TAPME Manipal. With deep expertise in climate change, ESG, and large-scale industry transformation, he brings a rare ability to bridge industry, government, and academia with practical global insight. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Joseph Martin, who will be speaking on the social responsibility dimension on ESG. Sir, please.
Can you put on that presentation on the screen? Good afternoon, respected dignitaries, researchers, scholars, academicians, and students. I'm really honored here to stand before you to deliver this keynote address, primarily because Federal Bank, who is the parent organization of this institution, is a pioneer in establishing sustainability practices in the country. Having infused with an IFC equity, Federal Bank took a very bold decision in exiting coal as a sector, which no other bank had done in India. And I also heard that FISAT is actually an institution that is developed by a trade union of Federal Bank, which is very heartening to hear, because trade unions are normally looked at bargaining, negotiating for the benefits of the employees, but they are actually coming out with a very innovative model. So because of these two pioneering efforts, I'm really honored to stand before you to deliver this keynote. And I also have a confession. I'm not an environmental activist. I'm not a social activist. Because normally when I come and speak about sustainability, people think, he's an activist. He speaks about human rights. He speaks about environmental protection. He speaks about climate change. Because we have a stereotype that has been established by the activist, that if you fight against the system, and if you challenge the system, then you will be able to make a change. I am from a different league. I am a pure businessman. I would like to use environmental, social, and governance to make business benefits, to grow business sustainably. Don't take me wrong. I'm not that kind of an exploitation leader, but I would like to see that this sector is growing in spite of all the environmental, social challenges. And just to make sure that we are all on the same page, I would like to show a slide. I think probably you would have heard these three terms. And I'm asked to talk about S here. I'm not going to talk about E or G. Thank you, Dr. Justin. You gave a very comprehensive picture about what sustainability is from a global front and from an Indian front. Have you heard about these three acronyms, ESG, SDG, and CSR? What is the difference between these three? Anyone? Any student? I went to Rajagiri last month. I asked this question. One of the students stood up and very, very clearly answered the difference. I was really amazed.
Because what he told is, SDG is Sustainable Development Goals, which is actually a global goal that is agreed between all the 193 countries who signed on that. 17 objectives, 169 targets, which needs to be achieved by 2030. CSR was an initiative started by corporates to show that their responsibility is not only making profit, but to create, protect the planet as well as create surplus for the people. So CSR was a kind of historical thing. ESG is a very recent acronym we have seen, which was coined about 15 years back by UNEP, when UNEP understood that protecting the planet and protecting the society cannot be done by government alone. It can be done only with the help of corporates. So they coined ESG as a measurement system for the corporates to make sure that corporates also contribute to sustainable development. And I'm going to talk about why S is very important, because not talking about the S, I'm going to talk about S of ESG. I'm not going to talk about S of CSR or S of SDG. S of ESG, why it is very important. I'll just show you some of the topics. When you say S of ESG, I think you should understand what are the topics that are related to it. Human rights, occupational safety, product safety, resilience, occupational health, harassment, toxicity, ergonomics. You look at this is not exhaustive list actually. If you look at the Morgan and Stanley universe of S initiatives, it's much more. But if you look at all these topics, I think probably we all think that these topics are only related to the corporates which we are talking about. But having seen these topics affecting the profitability, reputation, and access to market of corporates, every corporate is now taking a bit more value chain view about these problems. I'll just show you what are the value chain which we are talking about. Any company, if you want to work, they need to have suppliers. For example, if you are riding an electrical scooter here in Kerala, the cobalt for that electrical scooter is extracted from DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. 70% of the cobalt is coming from there. That has been transported to some of the southeastern countries where you make the battery. That battery is bought by an automobile company in the country, and then you fit it in and they sell it to you. You are a part of a very large value chain where all these topics are getting affected. Human rights in Democratic Republic of Congo, or climate resilience in Bangladesh, or child labor in Pakistan are not isolated events. These are actually creeping into the products or services which you and me are using. So we need to clearly understand that when you talk about S of ESG, the social side of ESG, it's not the society alone. It is the suppliers who all are working in the supplier space, who all are working in the company, who all are working in the customer side, and who all are using that product. I think if you remember, about 10 years back, there was a litigation in US against a very famous talcum powder company. I'm not naming that. I don't want to name and shame. Millions of dollars were paid to some of the mothers who went to the court and told about this talcum powder was actually the cause of ovarian cancer in some of their daughters. These children were using this talcum powder about 30 years back, and they were getting into ovarian cancers, and it was beyond doubt proved that ovarian cancer is caused by some of the elements in the talcum powder. Millions of dollars actually being lost. The point I'm making is, when you talk about S of ESG, it's actually a very, very important topic which will be touching each of us. And just to give you some idea, if you look at S is the middle child, I think you all know the middle child syndrome. How many middle children are here? Okay, I don't know whether what I am saying is, you are the neglected middle children. But no, I am the eldest, so I know how privileged to be an eldest son. But I know how my sister will feel, when I was given importance in the family. S is always considered as a middle child, having sandwiched between environmental and governance, because these two are very powerful, because governance is close to the management. Environmental is very much visible from the activism. So people always think that, why should I look at S? The problem for S was, measuring S is very difficult. If you say safety, how do you measure safety? Lack of accident is safety, but can you say that, if there is no accident, your safety is improved? One of the reasons why Indigo is taking a very belligerent stand today is because they never had a safety accident in the last 19 years of existence. And they are trying to fine-tune their health, mental health of the pilots, so that they can improve profit without thinking about what can cause if something can go wrong. So health and S is extremely important, even if it is very difficult to measure. I will give you a couple of examples here. I think, will you be able to identify this picture? Is there anybody who can identify which incident I am talking about in this picture? Anyone? This was happened about 2 decades back in Bangladesh. There was a place known as Rana Plaza in Bangladesh, which collapsed one fine morning. 1,200 people died. 1,200 people died. You know where the demonstrations happened after this incident? Was it in Dhaka or elsewhere? Demonstrations were happening in Europe, because this building was actually housed by global brands. Again, I'm not going to name that brand. Those brands are very, very close to your heart. They were using the laborers in this particular building, and they were not enforcing safety standards there. And because of that, 1,200 people died. Mother, children, elder mothers, pregnant women, they died. Because they were not giving importance for safety in a supplier's place. I'll also show you one more incident here, which was this incident. Anyone saw this photo? No one had seen this photo. It happened 2 weeks back in India, where Indigo has taken us all into a difficult situation. What was the issue? It was the government norms to enhance the pilots' safety and pilots' efficiency have been challenged by an airlines here by making their customers suffer for days together. A very clear S incident, which affected the reputation, which affected the profitability, which really affected the lives of many people. I'm also going to give, I think this picture you will immediately know. What was this picture? Where this happened? CEO of a company. So I'm not getting into the personal life of those people. No? During a Coldplay concert in Boston, this photo was actually flipped only for microseconds. But it affected the life of 2 people, 2 companies. What I am saying here is ethical behavior, even if it is only for a microsecond, can be caught by technology today. If you ask ChatGPT today, comparative ESG performance of Chevron versus Saudi Aramco, ChatGPT will immediately tell you what are the performance differences of these 2 companies. We could not do that before. We used to rely on rating agencies to see what is the rating of a company compared to another company in terms of sustainability. Today, you don't have to do that. You just ask one prompt. Then you will get a comprehensive report of what kind of negatives, what kind of positives these 2 companies have actually come out with. So in the age of technology, and one more data point I'll give you, every oil company in the world used to the system that no, anybody can go to the internet and you can find out what is the methane emission of each of these companies through satellite imagery. So technology is actually making your system transparent. So any violation, any unethical behavior, any violation, any kind of harassment that is happening in the value chain can be identified by the technology. That's where I think AI is becoming a very, very powerful enabler of ESG. Now I come to two other pictures. Do you remember this picture? What car is this? I drive this car, it's Volkswagen, and in about 15 years back, I think about 15 years back or 20 years back, there was an incident happened for Volkswagen. They played out with a software to show that the test bed emissions of Volkswagen is actually within the limits. But when market identified it, the market capitalization of Volkswagen came down almost 60%. The CEO of Volkswagen has to resign. I still remember his name because I share his name, Martin. He has to resign. Was this an environmental issue or was this a social issue or a governance issue? I think people normally say that it's an environmental issue because you are emitting more than what you are supposed to. It can be a governance issue because people are not putting the enough controls in terms of emissions. But it's actually a social issue. Ethics have really creeped into. Researchers were pressurized. Software developers were asked to write codes to really make that change. So it's a social issue. I'll also show one more picture here. E20, how many you know about? I think everyone knows about T20. What is E20? You heard about E20? How many of you are driving cars? Can you raise your hands? I think you all should be aware of E20. It's actually E20 ethanol, which Supreme Court came out with an order about 4 months back. What Supreme Court told that mixing 20% ethanol into petrol is for climate change, is for achieving India's climate action to reduce the carbon emissions in your fuel. But how it affected us? I think if you don't know it, I think you should know that. It affects the energy systems because BPCL is actually producing, they are producing gasoline, but they are blending E20 from sugar mills. So that energy systems are getting affected. Water is getting affected. How water is getting affected? If you want to plant sugarcane, more sugarcane, you need water. And water is an essential ingredient for sugarcane. So if you use more water for sugarcane, then the society will not get water. It can be a financing issue. Because if you want to buy cars, now I think if you want to get an insurance, it becomes an insurance issue also. Because if you go to an insurance company and if you say that you have not used the right kind of fuel in your car, and if your engine is getting affected, then the insurance will not come. It can be an economy issue. Because earlier the money was actually going to the petroleum companies and petroleum companies were making profits. Part of that profit is getting diverted and going to the agriculturalist. So shifting of economy happens between the industry to agriculture because of this one decision. Automobile industry is getting affected and also food sector is getting affected. If all the sugar planters are telling ethanol is a more profitable business, if you don't plant food, then I think what is going to happen? Food security will be affected. If you look at all these circles, you can say that no, these are all finance or technical or insurance or environmental issues, but it is actually touching individual life of each of us. If you don't know, I think if your car, if you put in a E20 petrol in your car, which is not fitted with the right kind of carburetor, then it can actually create a problem for your vehicle. So it's a real social problem which we are talking about when you are talking about climate change mitigation. Now I want to put an argument here because from the middle child, because of AI, because of the AI revolution that is happening, this S of ESG is not the middle child, it is going to be the cynosure. Because if you really look at S, and I heard a great story from Dr. Manu about our airport, how the airport was financed. It was co-created with the customers. Have you ever thought about that you are creating you want to get a product or a service and you are funding it and you are creating that product? That is the way world is moving. I think if you look at Google, what is the value of Google? Google's value is that 5 billion or 6 billion people are actually using Google for searching. And Google is using you as a product, and Google is selling the AdSense to their own customers to make money. So in a way, if you look at the Google value chain, you are the product. You are being co-creating a product or service for Google unknowingly. So in this age, what I am advocating is, or what I am telling is, sustainability, especially the S part of sustainability of ESG, is becoming the centerpiece. And the challenge here is, I'll also talk about a challenge here. SDG 2030. Many of the SDGs are not getting achieved at this point of time. The primary reason is we do not know what sustainability is. And especially when you talk about sustainability, with respect to our own life or with respect to our own profession, what sustainability means we are not aware. So what Geojit Center, GCOSAT published is a model, a GCOS sustainability leadership model. It's not a model which is you can put it in your desk or anywhere, you can directly use it. This model actually talks about 3 elements. One is the 4 dimensions of sustainability leadership, talks about 8 knowledge domains of sustainability leadership, and it talks about 8 characteristics of sustainability leadership. I'm not going to explain this because I'm giving you this document as a free document to you. You can use this QR code, download this document. It's a very simple document which you can read. And the advantage is each of you can become a sustainability university by using this document. You can do a prompt on ChatGPT or you can do a prompt on Perplexity using these 8 dimensions and two strategic and operational dimensions. Say what is the role you want to play in an organization, in which sector that organization is working, which country that organization is working. You ask that question to ChatGPT and Perplexity, it will tell you what exactly is the sustainability leadership knowledge you should have. So it's actually a complete disruptor in terms of sustainability training. I think millions and millions are actually being charged by corporates or consulting organizations for sustainability training. But this one document, if you read, 25 pages document, if you assimilate it, if you know how to use ChatGPT and Perplexity, you become a sustainability university yourself, at least for you. And with this, let me stop my discussion here. Thank you very much for listening, and all the best to FISAT for its sustainable journey. Thank you.
Sir, we sincerely thank you for your insightful keynote on the social responsibility dimension of ESG and for highlighting the human side of sustainable growth. Up next, we have with us Professor Dr. Zakaria K.A., Professor and former Director, School of Management Studies, FISAT, with over 27 years of experience in teaching, training, and research. He played a pivotal role in establishing landmark centers at FISAT, including the DDU Kaushal Kendra, the Center for Employee Empowerment and Skill Acquisition, and the Center for Teaching Excellence under the Erasmus Plus project. He currently serves as the Southern Regional Vice President of the ISTD New Delhi and has been nominated thrice to the FISAT Syndicate, becoming its youngest member in 2003 besides being elected 6 consecutive times to the University Senate. With strong global exposure through the Erasmus Plus project and as a guest researcher at the Dresden University of Technology, Germany, his leadership spans roles such as being the director of School of Management Studies FISAT. An accomplished scholar, he holds multiple master's degrees and a PhD from FISAT in emotional intelligence, has published over 100 research papers, co-authored 6 books, and guided 17 PhD scholars. Today, we are privileged to have you, sir, with us to discuss on governance excellence pillar of ESG. Please join me in welcoming him. Sir, please.
I can change it from here? Yeah, I will do that. Oh, separate I have to do. Okay, okay. Yeah, looking, yeah, fine. Respected Chief Guest of the Day, Mr. Manuji, Airport Director, CIAL, my fellow keynote speakers, my friend Dr. Justin Paul, then Mr. Joseph Martin, Dr. Elizabeth, members of the Managing Committee, faculty members, delegates, and dear students, a very good afternoon to you all. So it is just like being at FISAT is just like coming back to home, because looking around I am seeing a lot of familiar faces who all are part and parcel of School of Management Studies, starting from Dr. Elizabeth, Dr. Anu, Dr. Sindhu, Dr. Jose, Biji, and I'm having long association with your principal. And Dr. Elizabeth introduced herself as my research scholar. I have nearly 19 research scholars completed research under my guidance, and Dr. Elizabeth happened to be the first. So first is always something very important, isn't it? So I take this opportunity to congratulate Dr. Elizabeth, Dr. Sindhu, and their entire team for organizing this wonderful conference on sustainability. And my topic is sustainable governance and strengthening corporate governance, transparency, and accountability. I don't need to define what is sustainability because my friends, Dr. Justin and Joseph Martin have done that wonderfully well. You see, when we talk about sustainability, sustainable governance, why we should discuss this topic, that is very important. Because sustainability, corporate social responsibility, corporate social irresponsibility, these are some of the topics which we are discussing nowadays very much. And we have many examples of corporates who happen to be very successful and later they happen to be great failures. So when we talk about sustainable governance, there are a couple of concepts which are very, very important, like transparency, accountability, right? So I will start with a simple narration, then I will move with my slides. A very successful company once proudly announced in its annual report, "We are fully committed to transparency." Interestingly, this statement appeared on page 247 of the annual report, printed in font size 6. And just below, a footnote was there, which was this: certain details have been omitted in the interest of business. You see the transparency. That company was not lying, it was in fact being transparent, but only to those with a microscope, a legal degree, and ultimate patience. This is the scenario in which we are discussing about sustainable governance today. So why sustainable governance matters today? Because you can see from the slide, today people are not just looking at the profit of the corporates. People wanted to know where these profits are coming out or how corporates are making the profit. And another thing is that the ethical concern which Joseph Martin was highlighting, that is very important in today's corporate governance. Because consumers, investors, and regulators now expect companies to operate with integrity, fairness, and long-term vision. And we have come across many scandals in recent years which shown that weak governance destroys trust very quickly. It is in this context we are talking about sustainable governance or sustainable corporate governance. Sustainable governance means, simple way, it means building systems that ensure responsible decision making. It includes 3 pillars basically: strong corporate governance, transparency, and accountability. So before going further, I will narrate some scenarios, some examples, which will help you to understand why the concept of corporate sustainable governance is important. Right. You all are familiar with Satyam Computers, isn't it? In 2009, its chairman B. Ramalinga Raju confessed that years of profits and cash balances had been fabricated. Satyam was a strong brand, we all know, and its chairman himself came forward and confessed that they were making fraudulent representations of their accounts. This involves compromised auditors and ineffective independent directors. I mean, I'm referring to the governance part of the organization. And what happened? The stakeholders had very severe loss. The share price had come down even below 20 rupees, came around 10 rupees. And that was a call for the government to overhaul the regulatory framework in Indian corporate scenario. So the lesson that Satyam gave to Indian corporate world is governance failures can erase decades of brand equity overnight. That was the scenario we have seen. Another scenario is Volkswagen's Dieselgate, which Joseph Martin was incidentally referring. See, a company, a well-known brand, simply manipulating the production system to come out of the ESG regulation. In 2015, regulators discovered that Volkswagen had installed software in millions of diesel cars to cheat emission tests, meeting regulatory targets in the lab while emitting far higher pollutants on the road. You see, what happened in this scenario, he was asking about, Joseph said was asking about whether it's a corporate governance issue, societal issue, or an ethical issue. It is both an ethical and governance issue having an impact on society. Because this was a systematic deception approved at senior level, because without a corporate decision, this would not have happened. And this shows the weak internal control and ethical oversight in a reputed corporate. And this is about culture prioritizing market dominance over compliance of regulations. So what happened? Its impact was they had to pay $30 billion for settling it as fine and other settlements and severe reputational damage. You see, 30 billion is not a small amount. If they had invested maybe less than 10 billion, they could have come up with a better production system to produce a vehicle in compliance with the regulations. So this globally triggered global scrutiny of ESG reporting because of this particular event. And the lesson that we get from this Volkswagen Dieselgate is transparency failures can convert technological leadership into ethical collapse. Right. Then another scenario, another case which we can discuss is the case of Facebook and Cambridge Analytica data scandal. Here, what happened? So we always talk about the privacy, data privacy of people. In the Cambridge Analytica data scandal was a major data privacy and corporate governance scandal that came to light in 2018, involving Facebook, now which is known as Meta, and political consulting firm called Cambridge Analytica. What happened is they used it for political purpose. They used it in 2016 US presidential election, and that was a data privacy breach. So this is an issue of data privacy violation, misuse of user information, and talking about exhibiting poor data governance. So this is a case of lack of transparency in platform operations and weak accountability for third-party misuse. So this also called for regulatory scrutiny worldwide and loss of public trust and stricter global data protection laws. So Facebook, with this, gave a lesson that is digital platforms without accountability threaten democratic and social sustainability. Another important example is from Nike. I'm taking examples from different domains. So Nike's case is a sweatshop labor controversies. Nike outsourced production facilities worldwide. And one such case is their production facilities which was outsourced was known for unsafe working conditions, and that was involving child labor. So this is a case where lack of supply chain transparency is clearly reported and distance from responsibility through outsourcing. So what we need to understand is outsourcing does not outsource moral responsibility. So the impact was customer boycotts, brand damage, and forced adoption of ethical sourcing frameworks. And similarly, another case is about Johnson & Johnson. Johnson & Johnson's opioid crisis. This issue is a public health harm and misleading marketing. So this actually, Johnson & Johnson promoted this particular painkiller without announcing its side effects. So it was a profit-driven marketing overriding public safety and without adequate ethical checks. So it impacted, again, multi-billion-dollar settlements and loss of trust in a historically trusted brand. So corporate accountability must extend to societal health outcomes. This is the lesson what Johnson & Johnson had given to us. So these case studies which I have narrated, whether it is with Volkswagen or whether it is with Nike or whether it is with Johnson & Johnson, all these are case studies which are not just history, they are eye-openers. Eye-openers for building strong corporate governance or sustainable governance. So these are not failures of strategy, they are failures of governance. And the lessons from these failures are, sustainable governance is not a luxury add-on. It is the foundation for resilient business. So transparency without accountability or accountability without transparency, both are dangerous. So sustainable governance stitches the two together, that is accountability and transparency. And that is the task before us when we talk about sustainable governance. So when we talk about sustainable governance and corporate social responsibility are, we need to take them together because they are closely knitted. We all are aware about the concept of social responsibility. So I don't want to detail it, but I just want to give a brief review of the evolution of the concepts of sustainable governance and corporate social responsibility within a few slides. So you see, the concept of CSR started in 1950s, and Mr. Bowen, who is known as father of corporate social responsibility, defined it as the obligation of businessmen to pursue those policies, to make those decisions, or to follow those lines of action which are desirable in terms of the objectives and values of our society. Which simply means corporates can do business for satisfying their objective, but that must satisfy the objectives set by the society as well. In 1950s, when we talk about CSR, the CSR was more of a philanthropic in nature, because the corporates were playing a very strong role in economy, and their CSR activities were just philanthropic in character. In 1960s, business people have a relevant obligation toward the society in terms of economic and human values, because their economic reasons were there, and corporation social responsibility is to increase its profits. At the same time, they took it as they linked it to economic return, the social responsibility, they linked it to the returns for the firm. And in 1970s, the awareness about CSR became more, and environmental issues like pollutions and pollutions became more significant topics for corporate world, and a lot of concerns raised by many people, many stakeholders, and international community became aware of the impact of population growth, resource depletion, and pollution, and CSR viewed as a social contract between business and society. And then 70s became an era where managing corporate social responsibility came up. The concept of managing corporate social responsibility came up. Then in 1970s, Carroll stated that the social responsibility of business encompasses the economic, legal, ethical, and discretionary expectations that society has of organizations at a given point of time. This again shows the evolution of corporate social responsibility and sustainable governance. In 1980s, economic slowdown happened, and different interest groups expect corporation to fulfill the social expectations, shareholders, employees, and consumers. So the concept of sustainable development came into existence in 1980s. In 1990s, again, the concept of social responsibility gained international appeal. Diverse business environment in abroad enhanced the importance of the concept of CSR. And in 2000, we have responses to new role and responsibility toward each sector of society that is linked with corporate social responsibility and corporate sustainability. So that means it was a link between corporate sustainability and corporate social responsibility. So now we can take these two together as a complementary process, right? Then CSR is not a charity. Sustainable governance is not just compliance. It is more than that. CSR is the outward expression of how well an organization is governed, and sustainable governance is the system that makes CSR credible. So that means CSR and sustainable governance goes together. So now let us come to our topic again, strong corporate governance, how it's possible, what it looks like. So the first point with respect to this is a clear decision-making structure in an organization. So, case of Infosys, for example, companies must have boards that challenge decisions and prevent groupthink. So, boards consisting of independent directors, they always should exercise a check over the recommendations or decisions of the management, which normally does not take place in organizations, right? So, why this matters for sustainable governance? Because if directors are challenging the recommendations of the management, they question, debate, and critically examine rather than collapse due to a crisis transparent communication management system, which is part of a sustainable governance system. So the Tylenol crisis proves that sustainable governance is tested not when things go right, but when everything goes wrong, right? Then third point is disclosure of supply chain practices, right? People now want to know where products come from and how workers are treated. See, H&M publishes the names and locations of factories in its supply chain. This step raised transparency in the fashion world. We have seen a supply chain transparency, lack of supply chain transparency in the case of Nike, where Nike had lost their reputation. So this is a very important concept. I'm just briefly explaining. And next point is the accountability part of the sustainable governance. That is taking responsibility for actions. Accountability means accepting responsibility instead of hiding problems. So one wonderful example is Toyota recall crisis. Toyota recall crisis refers to a major vehicle safety and governance crisis happened in 2009-10 period, in which Toyota recalled millions of cars worldwide due to reports of unintended acceleration, brake defects, and floor mat interference. See, they recalled over 8 million vehicles globally, billions of dollars in recall and settlement cost. But Toyota did not fail because it ignored quality. It failed because it ignored how fast risk must be escalated in a transparent system. Toyota learned that reliability in engineering must be matched by reliability in governance. So this is another example, this is a wonderful example for the accountability issue. And when it comes to accountability, protecting customers and society is an important concern. Companies must ensure their decisions do not harm customers, communities, or the environment. Marico and ITC, these brands have reduced plastic use and increased recycling efforts as part of their responsibility to society. And third point is legal compliance. Following laws is basic in corporate management, but sustainable governance goes beyond compliance to proactive ethics. See, why sustainable governance is a competitive advantage? See, sustainable governance is a need of the time, and it is encouraged because it is a competitive advantage. So it is a competitive advantage because sustainable governance builds stronger customer trust, attracts global investors who prioritize ESG performance, and protect companies from reputational risk and improves long-term profitability. And TCS is one corporate which has consistently ranked high on global sustainability indices. This reputation boosts investor confidence and global partnerships. See, the cost of poor governance, we have examples with the Wells Fargo, the account scandal. This is a major corporate governance ethical failure issue, which is well known. This also happened in the US banking system. This was exposed publicly in 2016. What happened is for several years, Wells Fargo employees opened millions of bank and credit card accounts without customer consent. This was done to meet aggressive internal sales targets known as cross-selling goals. So sometimes companies themselves will create situations where employees will go against ethical standards. And Volkswagen's emission scandal is also a single decision driven by short-term gains caused long-term reputational damage. So these examples show that ignoring governance is far more expensive than investing in it. So how organizations can strengthen sustainable governance? Build diverse and independent boards. I'm not explaining, I'm just rushing through the points. Set up whistleblower channels, that is a need of the time. Publish clear sustainability report. Train leaders in ethical decision making. Integrate ESG metrics into performance reviews and encourage stakeholders dialogue. So to conclude, a call to action when it comes to sustainable governance. Sustainable governance is not a compliance task. It is not just complying with the regulatory framework. Rather, we should go beyond that because it is to be maintained as a mindset among everyone part of the corporate world. Companies that embrace transparency and accountability will be the one consumers trust, employees join, and investors support. So encourage the audience to think of governance as an everyday responsibility, not a yearly report. So sustainable governance aligns incentives with long-term value, transparency that enables timely stakeholder scrutiny, and accountability mechanisms that make wrongdoers answerable. Strengthening these pillars reduces systematic risk, rebuilds trust, and creates companies that prosper not by externalizing costs, but by internalizing responsibility. To close the presentation, in the long run, profits can be managed, narratives can be crafted, but trust cannot be manipulated. Thank you very much.
We sincerely thank you for your insightful address on governance excellence and its vital role in strengthening the ESG framework. Thank you, sir. Now that we have completed all the keynote speakers' presentations, I request the dignitaries who were previously seated on the dais to please take your seats back on the dais. Monuments stand as timeless symbols of legacy. In the same spirit, our appreciation and gratitude remains enduring. I now request Mr. Ajit Kumar KK, Management Committee Member, FBOAS, to present our esteemed chief guest, Mr. Manuji, Airport Director, CIAL, with a token of appreciation. I now request Mr. Abdul Nasser MP, Management Committee Member, FBOAS, to present the memento to Professor Dr. Justin Paul, Professor, University of Puerto Rico, USA, with the memento of gratitude. Now I request Ms. Jayashree K, FBOAS Management Committee Member, to give away a memento of appreciation to Mr. Joseph Martin, CEO, Geojit Kusat, Center for Sustainability Studies. Now I request Professor Dr. Elizabeth George, Director, FISAT Business School, to present the memento to Professor Dr. Zakaria K, Professor and former Director, School of Management Studies, FISAT.
Convener, FICMR25, and Assistant Professor, FISAT Business School, whose academic and professional commitment has greatly strengthened our conference to deliver the vote of thanks. Sir, please.
Distinguished dignitaries on and off the dais, delegates, faculty colleagues, and dear students, good afternoon all. That is, as we conclude the inaugural section of the FICMR, I would like to propose that I duty my vote of thanks. First of all, I would thank our chairman who gave us permission to conduct this event. Then, that is Mr. Sachin Jacob Paul, who presided over the meeting. Then I would like to express our profound gratitude to our chief guest, Mr. Manuji, Airport Director CL sir. Your presence and your insights have truly elevated the stature of this conference, and we are thankful for the time you spent with us today. Thank you, sir. Then we are grateful to our principal, Professor Dr. Jacob Thomas P., for your valuable thoughts and for always being a pillar of strength for all of our endeavors. Thank you, sir. In his absence, I thank him. Then a special word of thanks goes to our distinguished keynote speakers who have joined us to share us with their global expertise. First, Dr. Justin Paul, sir. Sir,
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
With that, we draw this formal ceremony to a close. We extend our deepest gratitude to all of you for gracing us with your presence and being an integral part of this inaugural event. We eagerly anticipate your active participation and enriching engagements as we proceed through FICMR25. Ultimately, we sincerely hope that each of you will leave today having gained valuable learnings and insights from the sessions that you carry forward. Inviting all the dignitaries of the dais to the dais for a photography session. Dignitaries of the dais, requesting all of you to please come to the dais. Requesting the faculty members also to please join them for the photography session. Requesting the delegates also to please join. instructions. Lunch will be served on top floor of the canteen for the delegates, and the next session will start at roughly 1:45 p.m. So please complete your lunch and hope you enjoy the lunch. The respective panels have already been assigned for the delegates. Kindly refer to the online track schedule for the same, and do reach out to the track in charge in case of any queries. Thank you so much everyone present here today, and have a purposeful conference and a wonderful day ahead. Thank you. The next session will start right here at 1:45 p.m. Please have your lunch and return back to the same venue for the next session.